Hey everybody, Steve Burns back again. Let's go and explore the concept of texturing glass. And let's go ahead and turn off the chess piece temporarily. And here's my glass. I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. There we are. Okay, let's go ahead and select it. I'm going to go to our 3D panel. And I think what I'm going to do is target the move tool. So we can move this, position the camera a little bit more to the center of my composition. I'll do the same thing with the rotate tool. There we are. And let's go ahead and pull this down. There we are. Alright, so currently our glass is going to have some transparency to it. And what's going to help me to see the results of my transparency a little better is to actually place something in the background that I can see through. Now I'm going to take a look at some options here. Now here's one I was playing around with, and I might just go back and take a look at some other options as well. Let's go and look at another image. How about something like this? I think that'll work really well. Let's go ahead and copy that one. Let's go ahead and put it inside the other folder. Okay, target that one, Command C. And let's go back and put it inside my textures folder. Alright, so with that placed inside, there we go. I'm going to place it. There we are. I'm going to go back into Photoshop. There we are. Now we're going to bring in the background, a 3D background. So go to my 3D panel once again. Now, to bring in the background into the 3D environment, you're going to target what? Pretty much the environment at the very top of your 3D panel. So once that's targeted right down on the bottom, you're going to see an option for backgrounds, usually the very below the lower end of the properties panel. Go to my folder here. Load the texture, and I'm going to target that beach scene there. I'm going to sit back and relax and take a look at it. There it is. We have the beach scene in the background. Now let's go and there it is. Target the background itself. Now what you had was an overlay, so just pretty much getting out of the environment will allow you to see what that's going to look like in your 3D environment in its full intensity. So we can't see through the glass yet. We haven't brought down the opacity of the glass, but we have something behind it that we can view through. Now later on, we're actually going to give this much more of a practical application where we're going to put these 3D objects in a place that's going to be somewhere in your kitchen or your living room, so that your environment's going to reflect the objects, and they're going to look as if they're going to be or have been placed there and shot with a single photograph. I'm going to target the wine glass. I'm going to go to my extrusion here, and let's bring down the opacity. So target the opacity, bring it on down. There it is. We can see our inflation map there. So we're going to target both the front, hold the Command or Control key, and the back inflation, and with both texture attributes targeted together, we can utilize these opacity keys to bring them down equally. There it is. So the front and back inflation is gone. We're just seeing the glass. Alright, I'm going to target the glass extrusion itself. Let's bring it down just a little bit more. And what we're going to do is we're going to render this. I want to go into my 3D panel or options. I'm going to hit my Command or Control K. Okay. And right down here under 3D, we have various options. So I can, for overlays, rendering tiles, ground plane, I can change the colors here. So for the ground plane, I find it easier if I render it in something like a red. It's much easier to see visually. So I'm going to go to a nice deep red and target OK. Okay, so let's go and give it a quick little render. Target OK. Hit this button right here. It's a little symbol of a cube, a 3D cube. So the third one from the left. Target it. I'm going to sit back and watch it. Now you can see my render tile is now a reddish color. So what we're going to do is going to let that render. It's going to go up to the glass. Now all the areas that are transparent, it's going over quickly. But as it goes over the glass, especially if you have transparency and particularly refraction, we're going to talk about refraction in a little bit as well, it's going to render a little bit slower. Okay, so let's let this finish rendering, and then we're going to come back and view the results. So we have a pretty good looking reflection here. Let's actually zoom in a little closer. We can see little remnants of the reflection on the surface of the glass. And of course, we can modify this as well based on the fact that we adjust our reflection quality. If we want less of a reflection, we bring the slider down. More intense, we're going to bring it on up. Okay, and of course, another thing that's going to affect the reflectivity of your surface is going to be on the opacity of your glass once again. So let's go and talk about this concept of refraction. I think you're going to find that one quite interesting. And as when light will flow through glass or liquid, there's going to be a refractive index that's going to be applied. So here's a view of a refractive index chart. Now, for those of you who want to get a little bit more deeper into making your 3D scenes a little more realistic, vacuum, which is space, basically, is a 1.0 even. Air is, standard air is at 1.000277. So as we go down the list, we have various types of gases, carbon dioxide and helium and oxygen and hydrogen, and is giving the refractive index for those. So for example, if you were making a scene that's going to have like a helium atmosphere or a carbon dioxide atmosphere, you might want to play around with some of these concepts to get that, just to get an interesting effect of how lighting is going to be affected onto 3D objects. So as we come down, further down the list, and we have water, and let's just focus on water right about here. And water is a 1.33 index. You got glucose, 10% glucose solution in water, 1.3477. So it breaks it down according to various liquids and gases. Ice is 1.31. So if you decide to model ice cubes to put inside of a glass, give those ice cubes a refractive index of 1.31. Okay. And then and I basically went to Wikipedia. That's where I get this stuff from. Go to Wikipedia and you will find this index there. Now, to bring the point of the refractive index further home, I decided to share with you also utilizing some simpler objects. So I have my cylinder, which is inside my sphere here. I'm going to go find the sphere, material surface, and I'm going to bring down this opacity. Okay, like so. Alright, now with the sphere targeted, I'm going to play around with this refractive index. Now 1.0, let me go over here and grab my selection tool and grab half of this. Let's go ahead and give it a render. Command Option Shift, and so we can see we get no effect at all. Sometimes working with simpler objects, I can render things a lot faster. Working with more sophisticated objects I created slows down the process a bit. Alright, so hit the escape key, stops the render. Now let's go to the refractive index. Let's bring it up to something like let's say water. Okay, let's go ahead and target 1.33 for water. Hit enter. and let's give it a render. There it is. You can see it's distorting reflective wise inside the ball. On the ball, it's starting to distort the object. Okay? Let's hit the escape key to stop the render, and let me just kind of get in a little bit closer so that you can see this. So it takes the object on the inside and creates a reflection that actually brings it closer to the actual surface of the 3D sphere itself. So in other words, if I go to even further past, let's say get close to 2.0, watch what happens. Go ahead and render this, and it takes the inside object and reflects it so that it's covering the entire sphere. And we have a little comparison on the other side. Let's do one more. Let's stop our render, hit the escape key, and go to my, instead of 1.3, let's go to something like 1.113 as an example, and let's give that a render. Okay, and we can see it slowly creeping out to flow or to adhere to the sphere shape itself. So it's expanding the object inside. So it's not actually recreating the object or distorting the actual object or the actual cylinder. What it's doing is taking the reflective quality of that cylinder and expanding it visually. So it's distorting light. So light's affecting the reflection of this entire image. All right, so hopefully that was a little better example and understanding refraction.